Guys, I've been unintentionally gatekeeping this story, and now it's time. About a month ago, I went on a first date with a man I had met on Hinge. We'd been talking for like almost a month before we went on this first date. On our first date, he told me he had been separated for 2 years and divorced for 2 months, which felt a little quick to me. Yeah. I shared with him that I had been recently love bombed and that I was like really trying to slow things down on the dating front and take things really slow because I learned my lesson. Right after the first date, next day he immediately asked me on a second date. I'm like, no, don't want to move too quickly. Ask me on a date for the next day. No, don't want to move too quickly. Tuesday comes around. He's like, do you want to go on a date tomorrow? Meaning Wednesday. I was like, look at you planning in advance. Let's do it. I said yes to Wednesday. I had plans that Tuesday night to go over to a friend's house for a going away party. And he texted me and was like, hey, I can't wait until tomorrow to see you. Do you want to just grab quick drinks before your going away party? And I was like, yeah, that'd be great. So we go out to drinks at this awesome spot in DC. And while we're sitting there, we're having normal conversation. And I'm joking about the fact that he is 36 because I always find myself dating people in the age range 34 to 36. It's just like my sweet spot. And he's like, well, actually, I have to tell you something. I'm actually 39. My age is wrong on my Hinge. And I was like, do you think I'm stupid? If you got divorced 2 months ago and that's when you made your Hinge, you were lying. If you made it back when you were 36, you were cheating on your wife. So what? Also, I'm pretty sure your Hinge updates every year, like as you get older. Like I'm pretty sure it changes by itself. So I was like, what the fuck? That's so weird of you. I literally demanded he show me his physical ID because I thought that was so weird. And I was really creeped out. And honestly, I should have been out then. So I see his ID, he's actually 39, and I say to him, this is so weird of you. There's no good time when you're dating girls on Hinge to tell them that you're not the age you put on your profile. Like you could tell them in that first message, or you could tell them like when on your wedding day, and no matter what, that's fucking weird of you. Like that's never gonna be a normal conversation that girls are just okay with. Like just make it your regular age. Obviously you're trying to show up on Hinge for like young women who you can, whatever. Anyway, so we finish drinks, we kiss, it's a good time. He goes home, I go to my friend's going away party, and I pose a question to the group. I'm like, hey, he lied to me about his age. It feels kind of sus. What does everyone think? My best friend, who was right, is like, get out of that situation. That is freaky, girl. But all my other friends at the party were kind of like, oh, you're just collecting data. Like that's a first data point. Like, yes, that's concerning, but why don't you collect more data and see how you feel about the guy? Because at the time I really liked him. We had great chemistry. He was super attractive. Like we just vibed. But also like maybe part of that vibe and part of why that was exciting is because I could sense like something was off, or like we had that chemistry because like there was that excitement and spark. But like a lot of the time, like good, healthy relationships start like more of a slow burn, or like with a friendship. Like I should have known that that spark was indicative of like, there's something wrong here. So now it's Wednesday, it's time for our pre-planned date. And the first 2 dates he had come into DC for me. He lives in Maryland. So I said, hey, I'd be happy to come out to Maryland for you. I feel badly that you're always coming to DC. And he was like, well, you don't have a car. And I was like, I have a Metro card. And have you ever heard of that Uber? Or do 36-year-olds not know about Uber? He was like, oh, I have a surprise for you. Be ready at 7. Me, having watched every fucking rom-com, was like, this is so cute and romantic. I'm so excited. Dumb, dumb, dumb. So he comes, he picks me up in his car. I'm like, wow, this is like a real date. He's picking me up, he's driving me to the place, and it's all a surprise. I don't even know where we're going. He takes me to this restaurant in DC called Mercy Me. Food was incredible. And I'm like, thank you so much for dinner. Like, was this a surprise? And he's like, no, I have one more surprise. This man proceeds to say, oh, I have to work in Arlington tomorrow. So I decided to spend the night in DC so I don't have to schlep all the way from Maryland to Arlington for work at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. Spending the night in DC, got a hotel room. But what he didn't do was ask me to stay over with him. Like, he's that good. Like, he didn't ever explicitly ask that. He made me think it was my decision. So dinner ends, we like go to a bar, we grab a couple of drinks. I'm not even drinking. I'm literally like dead sober, and I made these decisions. But we walk out of the restaurant, he's like, do you want me to drive you home, or do you want to come up to my hotel room? And I was like, I could use a hotel room tour. I go, hotel room tour, one thing leads to another. Take that as you will. Probably wasn't my best call. Anyway, I wake up in the morning at my own house. I'm on a high. I'm like, last night was so amazing. He's texting me. I'm like, we're getting married. But then I'm sitting there and I'm thinking really hard about it. And where he lives in Maryland is like 30 minutes from me. And Arlington is like 20 minutes from me. And I don't understand logically why someone would get a hotel in the city to not have to drive an extra 20 minutes in the morning. Something's not adding up. My spidey senses, something was wrong. My gut, women's intuition, something was off. I start thinking, I offered to come to his. He lives in his own house. I, live in a house with 3 roommates. The only reason I wouldn't want someone to come to my house would be if I was still living with my wife. So that activates the crazy in me. And I go to the internet and I pay for a background check, $25. Highly recommend doing that. Honestly, do it before your first dates. I should have done it way, way back. And I find every single thing about this man, right? Like his entire family, every address he's lived in since his college dorm, every traffic citation he's ever gotten, every piece of dirt on this man. And you know what isn't there? Divorce papers. So I start freaking out. I'm like, why are there no divorce papers? Could they be sealed? Like, are divorce papers even public record? I've never been divorced. I call the Maryland County court system and I ask them, hi, do you have any divorce records under his name and his wife's maiden name? They don't have any. I say, can you tell me if there's a sealed record under either of their names? They say, yes, we can tell you if there's a record, but we can't tell you what's in it. I said, awesome. Do you have records under either of these names? No records in the state of Maryland. I contact my family friend who's a lawyer. I say, hey, do you have to get divorced in the state where you're living? And they said, yeah, you have to get divorced in the state where either you or your partner is living. And I had both their names on the lease of their home address from my background check. I knew they both lived in the state of Maryland since 2012. If they had gotten a divorce, it would be in the Maryland court system. So I'm realizing this man is married. So what do? I go on Facebook and I post in the Are We Dating the Same Guy DC Facebook group. I say, hey, this is Danny. And I include a picture of him. I say, he lied about me to his age. Something feels sus. I tell the whole hotel story and ask anyone if they know anything. Within an hour, my post is blown up. Hundreds of women commenting how sus the hotel thing is and that it's happened to them before. He's definitely married and cheating. A couple hours later, a comment comes in. Hi, I'm the wife. Call me. I'm so sorry to do this, but I have to do a part 2. Come to part 2 to find out what the wife says.
Today I'm going to be sharing with you the dirtiest I've ever been done by a man. Even baddies get done dirty. Shit was insane. Let's get freaking started. Well, first of all, I'm still flabbergasted this happened to me. There's just no way. But one night I'm going to this local bar in my hometown, and I'm at this local bar. I see this man that I recognize from my childhood. And we start talking and we start reminiscing on our childhood about how we knew each other back in the day. Remember when? Yeah, you know what? We had that connection. And then right off the bat, he's obviously into me, which is fine. And he was like, you know what? Like, what are you doing later this week? I want to take you out. We should get dinner. And I was like, I'm kind of busy, but we'll see. Because he was nice. Like, I wouldn't have mind to have a nice dinner with him or whatever. But we end up not getting dinner because I'm so busy. And we go a few months without seeing each other, but he FaceTimes me like frequently. And he tries to text me frequently. And I'm not super into him. So I was like, are you not getting the hint? Whatever. I talk to him. I'm civil. Then, let's fast forward a few months. I go back to this local bar. Don't know why. And he's there again. What a coincidence. This guy's there again. And I'm like, hey, you. Long time no see. Let's up. And so we're hanging out like the entire night. And I'm also with my friends. I'm with 2 of my other friends and my sister. And so we're all hanging out with them. And then he literally is grabbing my hand the entire night, pulling me around with him, so I can't even mingle with other men. Like, I'm stuck with this one. He claimed to me, so I'm cooked. And I was like, yeah, whatever. I'm not really on the prowl anyway, so I didn't mind it. And the night's getting late, so he's like, you know what? Let's go back to my house, and we can keep this party going. And I'm like, yeah, I'm always down for a good after party. Let's go back to your house. I'm sure that will be fun. Me, my 2 friends, and my sister, and one of his friends go back to his house, and I get Taco Bell. We get there and he's like, oh my god, Trinity, are you cold? Do you need this jacket? And he's like trying to give me his jacket, but I'm like, oh, I'm fine. Like, I don't really need like the jacket. But he's like, no, you need it. I was like, okay. So I take the jacket unwillingly. I'm like, sure, I'll take the jacket. If it makes you feel more manly, I will take the jacket. Oh, sorry to get TMI here. We're on the couch and have a little Mac out session. Okay, guys, sorry about that. The video actually stopped and I finished my makeup, but the story's too good not to finish. I have to keep going. We Mac out on the couch. What else is there to do after a night out with a man? Then, after our sweet and sensual Mac out session, I fall asleep because I'm tired. It's like 3 a.m. and I just had Taco Bell. I'm asleep for like probably 30 minutes, and I wake up to my friend coming over, and she's like, Trinity, this guy's hitting on me. Like, we have to go. This is getting weird. I'm like, what? The man that claimed me as his own all night is hitting on you? That's weird. So I get up. I'm going to confront this situation. I walk over to him, and he's like, Trinity, can I have my jacket back? And he said it in a manner suggesting that I was an inconvenience and that I took his jacket. not that he put it on me. So I was like, yeah. So I give him his jacket back, and he, right in front of my face, puts it on my friend because she's so cold. And I'm like, what? What is going on right now? I didn't exist anymore. Baddie on the couch, no more. He had moved on already. You have 30 minutes to take an apple, you don't. Okay? So then I'm like, this is weird, we gotta go. So I get everyone, let's go to the car. He walks next to my friend the entire time, opens the door for her, gets her in the car, says, drive home safe, text me when you get home, bye. And he doesn't even say bye to me. And I'm like, how dare you? How dare you as a mid-man claim a baddie as your own and then betray her while she's taking her post-Taco Bell nap? I can't believe this. So anyways, I go home, I sleep it off. I don't really care. I wake up to a Snapchat from him. And he says, hey, sorry, I didn't get your friend's snap. Can I have her snap? I'm like, read the room, buddy. You do not ask the girl who you betrayed for her friend's Snapchat. That is very weird. And I'm like, honestly, no, you can't have her Snapchat because one, she doesn't like you, and two, that was weird. I actually think I have a screenshot of what I said to him. So I'll put the screenshot up because I'm pretty sure I have a screenshot of it. But yeah, I was like, it was just weird. Moral of the story, don't give your time and energy to a mid-man. He will not know what to do with such a baddie that he will fumble. It is the way of the world, the law of the universe. Yeah, this should be a fable. We should tell our children this story. It still flabbergasts me that this happened. Anyways, that's my story for the day. If you're watching this, sir, I hope that you got help because I'm still concerned about the situation. Goodbye, guys. Love you so much. This was the story of the day. Goodbye.
I think it's finally time for a little story time about why I dropped my best friend. Just to let you guys know, me and this girl were friends for like 5 to 6 years. Last year, my sophomore year in college, something traumatic happened to me and affected my entire life. I was being affected emotionally and mentally. I reached out to her to tell her what I was going through. I opened up to her and no one else. Me and her are both in college. We go to different colleges, but we live in the same hometown. So whenever we were home, I messaged her to try and hang out. But obviously there were times where we couldn't because we were just both so busy. Well, when I opened up to her about what was going on, I asked her if I could see her. I told her I wanted to go to the house. She told me that she was out of town and that when she gets back, maybe we could do something. She told me she was out of town. Why the fuck would I go out of my way to message her, hey, are you back? Like, when are we hanging out? No, I told her this is happening in my life. This is how I'm feeling. I want to see you. And her response was, I want to see you too. I'm out of town. So I sat back and waited for her to text me when she came back in town. I was constantly checking her Snapchat location, watching her private stories, and every single day for like 2 to 3 months, she was hanging out with her boyfriend every single day. Every day. Always with her boyfriend, which like, I get it. Some girls want to be glued to their boyfriends. Trust me too. But I also like to make time for my friends, especially my best friend. Well, anyways, once I saw that she was hanging out with him every day, not reaching out, to me, it felt like she didn't care. So what did I naturally do? Stop talking to her. I stopped reaching out. Once I stopped reaching out, guess what? I never heard from her. Ever again. Ever. Fast forward, months later, I made a TikTok about it. Not about the situation, but I posted a TikTok with a picture of myself saying, we don't hang out anymore, we never see each other, and swipe. And it's like, which is weird because swipe, and then it was a picture of me and her. She was my best friend, I loved her so much, I would do anything for her. That was the TikTok. After I posted that, boom shakalaka, she decided to fucking text me. She texted me this whole paragraph saying like, hey, I don't know if you're consumed by all the attention you're getting, but like, I'm just confused on what that post is about. Like, you ghosted me, like, blah, 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 blah. And I'm sitting here like, am I fucking delusional? Am I delusional? I'm sitting there, I'm with my boyfriend, we're eating, hello, date night. I text her back and I'm like, I don't really think you were there for me. When I needed you the most, you weren't there. I had other people who weren't my best friend doing things I thought you would do as my best friend. And she was like, oh, well, that's a little bit awkward considering you left me undelivered on Snapchat. And I was like, girl, I unadded you. You didn't notice that I unadded you? Hello? You didn't talk to me for 2 to 3 months? Good morning? I'm going back and forth with her and I'm like, I don't think you were there for me. I don't want to be in this friendship anymore. She goes on to tell me, well, I'm sorry. dot dot dot. I'm sorry that you got sucked into your own world and forgot about reality and the fact that I have a life outside of yours. Oh, bitch got me fucked up. When I read that, I was like, oh, okay, good morning, I'm up, let's get it. I'm like sitting there with my boyfriend. I'm not gonna lie, like, when I get mad, I cry. I was like, because no fucking way you just said that to me. Like, no shit. You have a life. I've seen you live it every day with your fucking boyfriend. Anyways, that kind of caught me off guard, and her attitude completely changed in the text messages. She was like, oh, I'm glad I dodged a bullet. I hope you can find other friends at your disposal. Oh, girl, okay. Good morning? Good morning. She was like the only friend that I had. The fuck do you mean get friends at my disposal? You were my best friend, hoe. And you weren't being a best friend. The fact that she said she dodged a bullet, bitch, I dodged a bullet. You're missing out. I was there for you. I loved you. I would do anything for you. That's how I lost and fell out with my best friend. I blocked her on everything. TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram, text message, goodbye. I'm not gonna lie, like every now and then, like I'll think about her and then I have to slap myself back into reality and be like, bitch, stand the fuck up. She was not your friend. She was, and then she chose her boyfriend over you and just didn't give a fuck. I need to stop relying on friends to do things that I feel like friends should do. Like, I was going through it. Like, I'm not even being dramatic. Something happened in my life. It's still happening. Still get emotionally and mentally, what's the word? Like, unstable. Maybe not unstable, but like, you know what I'm saying? I want to end this video saying that I don't hate my ex-best friend. I mean, yeah, obviously here and there I miss her. She was a really, really important person in my life, but I'm glad that I have friends who support me, love me, are always there for me. They keep me stable, for real.
My boyfriend refuses to sleep with me with protection, so I faked being pregnant. Started dating like a year ago, and when we started dating, I got on birth control. Like, I tried for 6 months and it just doesn't work. Like, I feel horrible. One of my biggest fears is to get pregnant, so I said we're gonna have to start using protection now. Like, he literally started freaking out in the beginning, saying he wouldn't do that. Like, he refused to do it. And I told him, well, this is not really a negotiable thing, so if you don't use, then we're just not gonna do anything ever. And like for the past 6 months, it's been like a struggle whenever we decide to do anything, because like he's constantly like trying not to use it. The thing is, like, I'm obsessed with him, I love him, and he kind of started saying that he would probably break up with me because he just couldn't be in a relationship if he had to have intercourse like that. So a week ago, I was actually furious because he did the most disrespectful thing ever, I think. So I said, okay, let's do it without anything. But the thing was that against my will, he finished inside me. So I decided, you know what, since he doesn't care about this at all, let's fake a pregnancy. It feels like he doesn't think about the consequences, but I know that if I faked it, he would be scared. Oh, by the way, after he finished, he did start panicking, and that was even more like, why did you do it then? He started saying that he had to go and buy me the morning after pill. I was like, okay, I'm gonna scare him. I told him, okay, never mind. I'm already late in my cycle, so it probably won't work. And I know this is not like technically right, but he doesn't know it. So I knew I wasn't gonna be pregnant because of the cycle and everything, but still I wanted to scare him because I thought it was just very disrespectful that he didn't think about it. And I was like, you better get serious about this because there's no way, you already know this, there's no way that I'm ever gonna get an abortion. So then I go a step further and I say, okay, so I'm probably gonna have to quit my job, so you're gonna have to like get a second job. And he was like, okay, let's do a pregnancy test right here, right now. And I was like, it doesn't work like that. It wouldn't show up, like it'll probably just show up in a few weeks. And this was a week ago, so when I tell you that throughout this whole week, like, he hasn't been able to eat anything. I already got my period, by the way, but he doesn't know it because he doesn't even want to do anything. I think he needs to learn his lesson. So I'm probably gonna say like the truth in like 2 days or something. I'm just like actually enjoying seeing him suffer. Yesterday I heard him cry in the bathroom and I kind of felt guilty, but this was what he needed to learn the lesson. So
you want to hear some juicy gossip from a small town that you've never heard of? Of course you do. So let's get into it. So there's this couple, high school sweethearts, if you will. Been together since high school. They get married right out of high school, like 6 months out of high school. And I mean, from the outside looking in, picture perfect. He's got a wonderful job. She's super cute. And she's got a really good job too. and life is going great. Well, she gets like this little gut feeling, you know that gut feeling, that something just isn't right. She just can't put her finger on it. But around that same time, guess what? She finds out that she's pregnant. So she just kind of puts it just to the, to the side, doesn't really say much about it. Life goes on. Well, 3 weeks after the baby is born, she's up feeding the baby at like 2, 3 in the morning, right? And his phone is lighting up. And she's like, oh, what the crap? Why is your phone going off at like 3 in the morning? So she goes over there and grabs it and goes through it. He had been having a full-blown affair on her the whole entire time she was pregnant. Remind you, she just had this baby. This baby ain't even like 3 weeks old at this point. So she wakes him up and he grabs the phone and says, you're dreaming, you're hallucinating because you're so tired. There's nothing on my phone. Turns the phone around. The audacity. Turns the phone around and says, I don't see anything. So she grabs the phone back and he had deleted everything. And she was like, I'm not stupid. Like, I know what I saw. Who is the girl? Who is this girl? And he starts crying. And he was like, I'm so sorry. I was just really confused. Blah, blah, blah. It will never happen again. Guess what? The person, the girl that it was her like first cousin's ex-girlfriend who had like come to the baby shower, was come to see the baby after it was born, had, come to the house and like hung out with the baby and everything. Can you believe that?